Hey guys, today I just wanted to do a quick warm-up, a little exercise, making just a cool little sci-fi box in Maya 2019. So just for fun, right? Just to play around. So I would like to start my box with just simply picking this polygon, and I'm gonna hold down the Shift key and drag to create the box in the middle of my plane. Alright, next I'm going to, let's head over to Channel Box or Attribute Editor, and I'm going to change my width and height, and let's go ahead and change the depth as well to 3 each, so something like this. Now I'm gonna make it just a little bit more rectangular looking, and let's see, let's go ahead and just for fun punch a hole through this. So I'm gonna delete all of these faces, press delete key, and now I would like to just simply close the space, but close the polygons inside. But before I do that, I'm gonna press space bar and go into my side view, and let's go ahead and grab all of these points, grab my scale, and just kind of scale them out, something like that. And then I'm going to grab these points here in the middle and just scale them just a little bit wider, so I have something like this. Going back into my perspective view, I think that works. I kind of have a rough idea of what I'm looking for. So something like that, even though I'm realizing that this space is obviously wider than that one now. So let's go ahead and come here and let's do the same thing. It doesn't need to be exact, I'm just playing around. So if you wanted to make the spaces exact, you could use the snap tool. So if you wanted to, for example, if I go back and undo this and this, right? Let's say I wanted to make them exactly the same distance. So to do that, I could actually turn my step snap on. I'm going to set it to 1 and just drag it out on this side, and then go over here, select these points and drag it out this way. So now with the snapper on, right, both sides are exactly the same. So maybe that makes more sense actually. Alright, so now we have this cool shape. Let's do something really fun. I'm just going to select my faces, all of these faces, and I'm just going to extrude and kind of pull out something like that. So now we have this kind of really cool, interesting shell. Again, I'm making a sci-fi box, so there's no rules. I'm just having fun. Next, I would like to do, let's add some detail on these columns here. So to do that, I'm going to, first I'm going to turn this on, wireframe unshaded, so I can see where my topology is. And let's select our box and go to Mesh Tools and do Insert Edge Loop. And I'm going to click on this little Options icon. And if I click on the center here, it's going to give me 4 equal edge loops. And I kind of like that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on each side, creating kind of an even topology. And now if we wanted to, we can actually grab, let's grab all of these points, hold down Control Shift and grab all of these. And now I'm gonna press Extrude again, grab my blue axes here and just kind of drag out. Or we can drag in, but in my case I think I want out, something more a little bulkier. So I think that looks really cool. All right, so that works. Let's see, what else can we do to add a little more detail to this guy? Maybe we can actually grab this face and this face, and let's go ahead and click on this circularize icon. So I'm going to click on that, and that's going to kind of give me, it's going to attempt to make a circle on top, right? So I obviously need more topology. So I'm going to add more divisions. I'm going to add, I kind of want to keep it low poly. So I'm going to say 2, and I'm going to grab my rotate tool. All right, so I need to rotate them one at a time. So I'm going to grab this guy first and hold down the J key and just kind of snap it about 3 times. And the reason J key works is because that activates our step snap tool again, and mine is set to 10 on rotation. So I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom here. Hold down the J key, and when I press J, you see that this gets activated. And now I'm going to actually go here, hold down J, and just rotate this so it's a little more even. So something like that I think is cool. And now let's select both of them and extrude it. And I'm going to extrude it up. Click extrude again. Click on the box outside here, so it gives me this middle one. I'm going to scale it in. Something like that. Click extrude again, and this time go inside the box. Now let's click on the outer box here once more and kind of pull it in. So you have something really cool looking. Almost like some kind of a window or opening, right? So I'm going to turn off my grid here because it's kind of interfering a little bit. And I just want to take a closer look and see what we got here. So one of the things I'm noticing is that obviously when we added more divisions to our circle, we are now have polygons that are more than 4 sides, right? On the bottom and the top, obviously. And you can tell because you can count the corners. So you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this polygon right here has 6 sides, and you really want to stay to 4 as a good practice for modeling. And the same thing goes inside the circle, right? So let's fix that really quick. So the way I actually found that out is I have the icon right here, right, that I added. But if you guys want to know which icon, which tool this is you go to Mesh, and then you go to Cleanup. And when you clean up, when you see the cleanup, you can click on Options. And in Options, I have my operation set to Select, and my fix is set to faces with more than 4 sides, right? And that's pretty much it. So now, if I say Cleanup, it's actually not going to do anything, but it's actually just going to show me which faces have more than 4 sides. So when I say Apply, you could see it's showing me. So that's a good way to always check your work and make sure that all of your faces are 4 sides and not more than that. Okay, so I'm going to close this, and the way I added that button to my shelf here is that you just simply go to Mesh and then hold down Command and Shift on the Mac, or Control and Shift on the PC, and when you click on it, it's going to add it to your shelf. So keep that in mind if you want to create custom buttons like me for some of the tools that you use most often. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and fix this now. So I'm gonna select this guy first, and what I would like to do to fix that, to add more sides, is simply, let's go ahead and delete it. Press delete key, then grab our edges, and let's extrude. And I'm gonna scale all of these in, something like that, right? So now, since I have all the edges kind of going towards the center, what I can do is I can go to select, convert selection, change to verts, and now since these are being selected, I can just click on this little guy, merge to center. So that's a clever way to kind of fix polygons that are round that have more than 4 sides. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the same thing on this side. I'm going to click this, delete it, right click, go to edge, double click, then I'm going to extrude, press scale, and then make sure you grab the middle box here and then scale inside, and then go to select, convert selection, verts, and merge to center. Boom. All right, so now if we go to object mode and select our box, right, we could see that if we click the cleanup one more time, this time the center of the round shape is fine. Now we just have to fix these. Okay, so let's do, let's fix these up as well. So to fix this, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select my box and grab this cut tool, and I'm just gonna cut from here to here on all 8 sides. So it kind of turns the dot red, indicating I'm on the right spot. Just takes a little patience. But again, this is really good practice for modeling, because you really want to make sure that your polygons stay at 4 sides. 3 sides, triangles are okay, but anything above 4 is a problem, because if you begin to smooth your geometry, it actually is not going to look nice, and some of the game engines will have an issue with polygons that are not with topology that's not clean and well optimized. All right, so now let's check this again. I'm going to click on the cleanup, and it's nice and clean. All right, so at this point my box is 418 faces and 796 tries, so that's nice and low poly. I think that's really cool. Let's see, what else can we do to make this even more funky? So let's go ahead and delete maybe these 2 faces here, and I'm going to press delete, right click, go to edges, double click on this and this, and now I'm just going to bridge them. So I'm going to click bridge, and it kind of gives me this cool column in the middle. And if I wanted to, I can actually crank up the divisions. And that could be a cool thing, because we can add some detail inside of this. So let's do even more. So let's do like maybe 10. Yeah, 10 is what I'm looking for. All right, so now with these 10, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to faces, click on one, then double click on the one next to it. Click, double click, click, double click, click, double click, click, double click. Okay, so that kind of selected all of them all the way around. Now what we could do is we can go to scale and just scale them out. Or let's hold down the J key and just kind of snap. And that gives us And then let's do the same thing on this side. So I kind of just extended the box out so it's a little more interesting. So it's not just so even. And now if I wanted to, I can actually scale it this way without holding the J key or without the snapping. So I'm gonna do something like this. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now I'm gonna click Extrude, and using my blue axes here, I'm gonna go inside, so something like that, and scale them this way as well. So it's almost like creating some sort of a energy thing inside the box. I think that's really cool. All right, so you have this crazy looking sci-fi energy box, which is kind of interesting. Another thing we could do is we can take all of these points if we wanted to, and maybe we don't want them to be so sharp. Let's see if there's a, what can we do here? I'm gonna grab all of these points here, and if you hold down Shift key, you can add to your selection. And then remember, if you hold on Control and Shift, then you can actually add to your points in addition to your selection. Anyway, so now I have these 4 points selected. Now if I go to Edit Mesh, or let's see, Edit Mesh, and then go to Vertex, I have something called Chamfer Verts. So I'm going to click that, and that's giving me a cool kind of a triangle shape, and we can actually make it just a little bit larger. So something like that is cool. Now that's also what it was doing. It's also smooth some of our sides. So if I select my shape and go to Mesh Display, I can say Harden edges or Set to Face, and that kind of straightens them all out again. So now we have this really cool thing. Now again, we created more faces, right? So if I say clean up, it's gonna yell at me and say, hey, these are not 4 sides, but I'm gonna ignore that for now because I wanna add more detail. So another thing I would like to do is I'm gonna select all of these faces just for fun, and let's just keep slowly adding more and more detail. So another thing we could do is let's keep extruding. So I'm going to press Extrude, and using my scale, I'm going to click on the box outside. So I have this middle box, and then kind of drag this inside. And I'm going to click Extrude again, and then take my blue axis and push it in. And then click on the box outside and scale this inwards. So something like that. Okay, and if we wanted to, we can also control how far it goes. You could see there's stuff. So don't take it too far, because then you don't want to run into topology below the polygon, right? So something like that is really cool, I think. All right. And let's see, what else can we do? Maybe we can add, let's select all of these faces. All right, and click Extrude. And the button that says Keep Faces Together, I'm gonna say off. And I'm gonna come on this side, click on this box outside once, and then click on the middle and scale it in. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull it out. Cool, then let's extrude again. Click here, then scale it in. and then extrude one more time and push it in, and then click and scale this in. All right, now if I right click and say object mode, I can see what we have done. So kind of creating this crazy looking sci-fi box. And the cool thing is in Substance Painter, all of these could be energy spots. So like the energy light could be emanating from these points here, and then this thing inside, right? Just the middle one. So it could almost look like a battery of some sort. So that could be really cool. And also in Substance Painter, we can add a lot more panels and detail to this object by just stamping the normals. So we can do that as well. All right, as far as the modeling goes, I am pretty happy with this shape. I think it's fun, and we could keep extruding more and more detail, but I'm pretty happy with this. Let's just do it one more time just for fun. Grab all of these guys. And you know what? Let's just grab the top as well. So something like that. So all of these, bottom and the top. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press extrude, and then take my blue X's and pull out. And then what I'm going to do is pull them in. So I'm just trying to create something interesting and unusual. I think that looks really cool. Now let's grab just the side ones. All right, and let's extrude again. Extrude in, and then click and pull it in. So I think that looks really cool. If we wanted to, we can also go to render, go to options. And in here we can turn on smooth wires, even multi-sampling if we needed to, if we wanted to. And we can also turn on the ambient occlusion. Now keep in mind that's this button here actually, right? So we have some of these buttons here. And let's check this out. All right, I'm actually not liking the multi-sampling, but this is nice because this gives us kind of smooth lines. If we wanted to do a screenshot for your social media or presentation, it looks nicer with the lines, the wireframe being kind of smooth. And I also prefer having black wireframe, which you can change in preferences instead of blue, or I think black and gray look really cool. All right, so this is it for our sci-fi box, and in the next tutorial I'll show you guys how to unwrap. We'll do UVs so we can bring this into Substance Painter. And the only other thing I would like to do is let's click on this guy, go to our hypershade and go to create, and let's go assign a new Fung material, and I'm gonna call it box, or let's call it sci-fi energy box. Press enter, and if we wanted to, let's go ahead and say assign existing, and let's see, what can we do here? Maybe we can make it kind of bluish gray so it's a little more interesting. Kind of in this area here. Just playing around. So now if we bring this into Substance Painter, our material is going to be called Sci-Fi Energy, which is much better than just default Lambert. So make sure you assign the material to this. And obviously, if we look at our UVs, it's going to look like a complete mess. So we'll tackle that in the next tutorial. But here's our cool sci-fi box that we created really quickly. All right, so I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. If you like this and this was helpful, please subscribe and let me know what you thought, and I can create more cool tutorials. All right, thanks.